Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to another MAMJ Let's Play of Course Party Book of Shadows. When we left off, we weren't right here with this broken neck lady staring at us. I forgot what her name was, but I'm sure it'll come back to me. Anyways, in the last episode, I died a ton. So right now, we are about to fall once again as Yui, and I'm going to reach out my hands and see if that's going to make any difference. I'm hoping this will work. I was pretty sure this fall would kill me. With the controlled jump, I might have been able to survive, but I was tumbling like a ragdoll. I was a goner. I couldn't even remember what you were supposed to do in a situation like this. Try to flip over? Brace for impact? In one last-ditch attempt at survival, I stretched out both my arms. Maybe somebody would be waiting there to grab them. Maybe somebody would save me. And somebody actually did. I honestly wasn't expecting that. I really thought there was no hope, but then, at the last second, I was yanked to safety. I don't trust this. Oh! I held onto his arms with all my might, and against seemingly impossible odds, I was pulled in. My life was saved. This was like a scene out of some anime. It shouldn't have happened. It was too convenient, but I wasn't about to complain. Weird. Okay. There's a ton of questions going through my head right now. Tsukasa was holding onto me tightly after coming to my rescue. He took off down the hall, back into the heart of the school, with me in tow. If only. He practically spit these words as he continued running. I tried to match his gait, and once we were a bit more in sync, I looked up at his face. He was fast. After we'd reached the end of the hall, he suddenly veered into the last classroom before the stairwell, pulling me in with him. Why a classroom? Oh, why a classroom? Why are we in here? I moved away from Tsukasa and almost immediately spilled onto the ground like a house of cards. Tsukasa grabbed my arm to help me up. Unfortunately, it was the arm Yoshie had been twisting. Oh, ow. Oh, sorry. I moved in it. It hit it. Okay. I draped my other hand over the sore spot where I assumed was probably one hell of a bruise. I started rubbing it gently, but it didn't help at all. Yeah, why don't we leave? Just thinking about going back out there and facing Yoshie made me shudder. I couldn't believe he was even entertaining the idea. I hope he doesn't die in this. This is a huge flashback for Yui's character as well. She went through some pretty traumatic experiences before she became a teacher. Tsukasa's gentle reassurance actually made me forget the pain in my arm for a moment. I had to stop myself from blushing. Or try to, at any rate. Tsukasa offered me his hand, and I graciously took it, squeezing it tightly as he led me back out into the hallway. Despite the fact that nothing had really changed, I was still in just as much danger as I had been. The paralyzing fear I'd been feeling was gone. If it were just me, I would have never been able to do this. I would have frozen up. But with Tsukasa leading the way, I felt like I could do anything.
シシド、少し走るけど大丈夫か?
With my blessing, Tsukasa upped his pace significantly.
もうあいつが出てきませんように。
Yeah, I think we have two ghosts that we need to be worrying about. I prayed silently for smooth sailing as I followed Tsukasa's lead.
このまま司くんと一緒にいられれば安心。
I don't know, she found you on like a windowsill. I gently squeezed his hand again, as if to reassure myself that he was still with me. I was starting to think maybe Yoshie was gone. Maybe we thwarted her. But of course, just as I was thinking that, she made her presence known again. That sounds lovely.
なんだってんだ。出てこい。
No. An unearthly voice reverberated through the dark corridor. I immediately drew myself into Tsukasa's back.
もっと連れてこい。
Pardon? Oh. Over Tsukasa's shoulder, I saw the same shadow-like spirit from before. It must have been waiting here to ambush us.
大丈夫。落ち着け。
Why is she so blurry? The ghost was moaning and wavering before us. We'll never be able to get past it.
私のために何でもしてくれる。
おい、シシド。
Who is she talking to?
俺があいつを引きつけるから、その隙に走って逃げろ。
やだよ、一緒に逃げて。
俺には秘密兵器があるのさ。
Oh, really? Is it a charm?
俺のばあさんからもらった形見のお守り。さっきあいつにこれを向けたら少し割りやがった。
I wouldn't rely on that entirely.
形見のお守り？
ああ。
でも、司くんやっぱり危険。
俺？まあ、なんとかなるだろう。
He's too lighthearted about this whole situation.
待ちなさい。
No. We really didn't have time to be arguing. It was closing in fast. And as it did, I noticed the spirit's figure had become more defined. She was a tall, young woman with her head turned sideways at a 90-degree angle. The tale of Yoshie suggests she fell down a flight of stairs, so a broken neck would certainly fit. I don't think that was though, right? This was Sachiko's mom. Wasn't it? I don't remember what her name was though.
早く走れ!
I might be wrong on that. You guys have informed me on a lot of things, like the old lady is not Yui Sensei, but there is a chance that we can learn more about her, so I'm trying to like kind of keep everything together and create my theories as I go, and hopefully you guys enjoy that. You can see me and tell me if I'm right or wrong or not, but it is a lot of fun. He gave my back a shove to get me started, and with no time to object, I unconsciously obliged. Tsukasa ran too, darting ahead of me for a few short moments.
おい、化け物! こっちだ!
I don't think this is gonna work.
待ちなさい。
That sounded a lot like Sachiko.
司くん!
That's not what you need to be doing right now. Tsukasa ran as close as he possibly could to get Yoshie's attention, then turned tail and began sprinting off in the opposite direction.
こっちだぞ! 化け物!
Amazingly, it worked. The spirit began chasing Tsukasa, leaving me completely unobstructed.
どうしよう。私、このまま一人逃げてもいいの？
Are we running away or are we going to the nurse's office? I was torn. On one hand, I knew this was my best chance, but I couldn't help worrying about what would happen to Tsukasa if his charm failed. I feel a save coming on. What about you guys? Like, where do you want to go? I stopped for a moment and glanced over my shoulder. He was still running, and the shadowy figure was still in hot pursuit.
司くんお守り出して危ないよ。
いいから行けって。お前が逃げ切ったのを確認したら俺も逃げるからさ。
I still can't believe I fell for it, but this was right about when I realized the truth. Tsukasa had no protective charm. He just made that up, so I wouldn't object too strongly to him serving as a decoy while I got away. Oh!
やっぱりダメ。
I stopped in my tracks and shouted at the top of my lungs.
待ちなさい。ヨシエ先生。
Is it really Yoshie? I wasn't sure exactly what I was getting myself into, but I had to do something, and calling the spirit's name definitely seemed to have an effect.
あなたの名前知ってるわよ。
Okay, maybe it's just not processing in my brain then.
おい、シスター。
All at once, the black figure was facing me. Though I never saw her turn around, she was flying toward me now, ignoring Tsukasa.
怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない怖くない。
I repeated this like a sutra and stuck one hand into my pocket, grasping tightly into the one and only item I'd stashed there. It's not the salt. What do you have?
お前は私を知っているのか。私には本当にお守りがある。
I do? Better not be that pencil. Tsukasa's care, his effort, his beliefs, they were all packed into this pencil. And when you get right down to it, that's what a charm is, right? I don't think it's gonna work. A pencil? I squeezed the nubby little thing into my pocket, mentally preparing myself for the confrontation ahead. The confrontation I'd impulsively initiated. Sorry, I can't read today.
逃げろ。
逃げない。私は逃げないわ。
Look at her with her courage now that her man is here for her.
神様、どうかお願い。
Yeah, well, I mean, she's still terrified, but yeah. I closed my eyes, lifted my hand from my pocket, and brandished Tsukasa's pencil intently. The gauntlet had been thrown. I was putting a lot of faith into this, and I really hoped I hadn't made a mistake in doing so.
私は獅子の結。この学校で先生を目指しているわ。
Alright, you go, girl. Oh! Oh! I got it. Okay, so Yoshie has been saying that she wants more people. And Yui just announced to the spirit that she wants to be a teacher at this school. So what's that spirit gonna do? It knows that it's going to be bringing more people. I gotcha. I opened my eyes to find that shadowy spirit, Yoshie, had stopped dead in her tracks. Did it work? Was Tsukasa's pencil keeping this vengeful soul at bay? No, it was your words, your foolishly chosen words.
私の代わりはいらない。
Okay, never mind. My entire theory is now gone because she just broke her own neck and is trying to kill us. Suddenly, I was whisked off my feet and slammed against the ceiling. I could see him down below. He was staring up at me and desperately leaping. He was trying to catch me, I suppose, even though he knew he'd never reach. I called out to him over and over again in my mind. If he could get away, if he could survive this ordeal, then it would all have been worth it. Yoshie was drawing near, and I was helplessly pinned to the ceiling. I had no chance at all. There was no doubt in my mind that my life was over. I clung to the relief that I felt at Tsukasa's safety. It was the only thing keeping me from losing my head entirely. She did kind of lose her head once. Too soon? Then, all at once, the situation took a complete 180. It was like a miracle. Did her head turn the other way?
Shinozaki Yoshie! そこまでにせい!
Huh? Before I had any idea what was happening, I found myself bathed in a gentle light. Say what?
おばあちゃん。
守ってやれんですまんな。せめてこれ以上邪術が拡大せぬこと。
It was the old woman who had collapsed in front of my house. She was standing down below me, enveloped in a warm glow. What kind of sound is that? If she goes Super Saiyan, I'm done. The black shadow lunged toward her. Then there was a horrific noise, and the old woman was gone.
獅子だ
And just like that, I fell to the ground. Thunk. Whatever Yoshie had done to me, the old woman must have nullified it. That must have been why she came to me this morning, and why she had come again now. I felt like I was going to faint. Tsukasa ran to my side and gently scooped me off the ground into his arms. Yoshia's spirit was gone. She vanished along with the light. Around us now, the only sound was the pitter-patter of raindrops on the school roof.
おい獅子だ獅子だ
つかさくん。
I'd suffered quite a bump on the head from my fall and was decidedly disoriented, but I still had enough sense to put my arms around Tsukasa's neck.
バカ逃げろって言ったのに
ごめん。でも。
I wanted to protect you. I couldn't bear the thought of losing you, is what I wanted to say. But instead, I just passed out in his arms. Well, at least you tried. I felt as though I was waking up from a long, horrible dream.
おい大丈夫かおい獅子だ
ここどこ？
本当に大丈夫か見ればわかるだろ学校の保健室だって
Okay.
保健室。
Lights are on. It occurred to me to look at my surroundings, probably something I should have done before asking about them. But in my defense, I was out cold. Beige walls, pink curtains, white beds with solid blue covers. This was indeed the school infirmary, no doubt about it.
どうして？
どうしてもこうしてもお前があんなところで倒れてたからここに連れてきてやったんじゃん
What?
あんなところ？
おいおいまだ具合悪いんじゃないのか肛門だよ肛門
Okay.
肛門に？私そこに倒れてったの？
そうだけど
私確かに学校の中でヨシエさんから逃げて、そうだ、腕を怪我して、なんともない？
はあ腕
夢だったの？そんなはずない。だって本当に痛くて死んじゃいそうだったのに。
ああまあなんか様子が変だけどとにかく無事でほっとしたよ
It's like, well, you're a little out of it.
こういうのって虫の知らせって言うんだななんとなく気になってお前ん家に行ったらお前のお母さんに学校に行ったって聞いてなそしたらあんなところに倒れてるんだもんな
You got concerned and went by her house. Oh, Tsukasa.
司くん、
まあとりあえず詳しい話は後で聞くからさちょっと待ってな
I think she wants to get out of this school as quickly as possible.
あ、
I would. I'd be like, no, let's... Out the window we go.
司くん、行っちゃった。ヨシエさんのこと聞こうと思ったのに。
あら、シシドさん、目が覚めたのね。
No, hi, nurse.
先生、
Sorry, hello, nurse. Is that how you do it?
驚いたわよ。三國くんが血相変えて私を呼びに来るんだもの。私が当直でよかったわね。
So she was here.
ご迷惑をおかけしてすみません。
それはいいのよ。でもあなたずいぶんうなされていたから悪い夢でも見てたんじゃない？
A little bit.
悪い夢。
そうよ。三國くんもすごく心配してたわよ。
そうだ。やっぱりきっと悪い夢なんだ。昼間に怖い話とか聞いちゃったし。
That doesn't justify you passing out at the gates.
ともかくもう大丈夫？
はい。
そう、よかったわ。
The nurse smiled cheerfully and disappeared behind the partitioning curtain. Letting out a sigh, I laid myself down on the bed once more. Something don't feel right. That curtain better not pull back or nothing. It was dead silent. The rain must have let up. The only sound I heard was an occasional cough from the nurse, who was otherwise going about her business quietly.
あ、そういえばペンケース。
I thrust my hands into my pockets, not really expecting to find it, but
ちゃんとある。
oh. The pen case, complete with Skasa's pencil, talisman inside, was present and accounted for. Which meant that
私、やっぱり教室には行ったんだ。
so she made it to the classroom, but she wouldn't have passed out at the gate.
やっぱり夢じゃない。
おーい。
あ、司くんおかえり。
Why would he not remember it though? I was still trying to remember the exact details about what happened when I unexpectedly felt something cold pressed against my cheek.
これって
お前うなされてただろ。汗もかいてたし喉乾いたんじゃないかなと思ってさ。
Oh,
コーヒー牛乳。
he's so sweet.
ありがとう。
A lot of things don't make sense right now, but he's so sweet. Tsukasa went out of his way to buy this just for me. It was a lovely gesture. How could I possibly refuse?
お前さ、明日というかもう今日か。推薦の試験だろ。何時からだ
9時。
あと4時間か。
Wait. In 4 hours? You're telling me it's 5 o'clock in the morning. And no? Is it? I'm so confused right now because it can't be. Is it at night? Is the test at night? Because if it's at night, then that would make more sense. But if it's in the morning, then the nurse is pulling a ridiculous shift and nobody should be up at this time.
もう無理だよ今日は。
It's gotta be at 9 a.m. I'd been put through hell on earth. Taking a test was the farthest thing from my mind. I was in tears. I had no idea why. Maybe it was because I was so relieved, so glad to be alive.
よし。なあ、シシド。起きれるか？ちょうどいいから、お前にいいもの見せてやるよ。
Okay.
いいもの？
おう、そうだな。むしろ、お前には見てほしいんだ。
うん。
My nose was still running, but my heart felt a lot lighter. I no longer felt threatened by this school. I was comfortable and safe. The two of us left the nurse's office with Tsukasa in the lead. Even though I was holding a cold coffee in my hand, I still felt warm all over. Neither of us said a thing as he led me through the empty halls. It occurred to me that when we last saw one another, I was mad at him.
ほら、シシド。着いたぞ。
ここって渡り廊下？
まあまあ、もうすぐだからちょっと待てよ。
もうすぐ？
I had no idea what I was looking for. I just kept staring at him, but his eyes were fixed on the window leading out to the walkway. As I gazed upon him in profile, I felt my heart skip a beat.
昨日のこと謝らなくちゃいけない。
But I just wasn't sure what to say. I'd let my feelings get the better of me, and reprimanded him for behavior that was, at least at the time, entirely reasonable. There was more to it than that, though. There was one particular reason, more than any other, that it made it hard for me to think of the words to say here. He and I had run from Yoshie together. We escaped her wrath against insurmountable odds. And what if that wasn't all just a dream?
お、出てきたぞ。
I followed Tsukasa's pointing finger, and...
朝日
Okay,
すごいすごい
I don't care what kind of school nurse you are. Why are you working till 5 in the morning?
俺、ここでよく夕日を眺めてるんだけどさ。朝日もいいもんだな。
綺麗だよ。街がオレンジに染まっていく。
お、元気出てきたな。
ここって司くんの言ってた例の場所だよね。
おう、うん。
今まで絶対に教えてくれなかったのに、どうして今日はその教えてくれるの？
別になんとなく。
Uh-huh. I don't believe that for 1 second.
なんとなくって。
I could think of a reason, but I didn't say anything. It just seemed kind of far-fetched to me, and if I were misinterpreting him, I'd be very embarrassed. He couldn't possibly... Could he? My face felt kind of warm. My words aren't working very well. I placed the sweaty cafe au lait can on my cheek and sighed
ど
softly.
うした？顔赤いぞ。
そう
まだ具合悪いんじゃないのか？
Let me hold you.
そんなことないよ。ほら朝日が赤いせい。
Of course, logic.
ああ、なるほどな。
He's not buying it, but he's gonna let it slide. Boys can be so dense sometimes. I don't think he's being dense.
試験頑張れよ。今からすぐ戻って準備すりゃ間に合うだろ。
ありがとう。司くんのそれ好き。
え？
それとあとごめんね。
なんで謝るんだよ。
いや昨日ほらなんかちょっと気まずくなっちゃったし、七不思議の話して。
ああ、そんなこともあったっけ？
Oh yeah, that maybe happened.
そんなこともって私は結構気にしてたんだけどな。
女子はほんと細かいこと気にするよな。俺は全然何とも思ってなかったのに。
そっか。
I let out another sigh and turned back toward the morning sun, stretching my arms skyward as a sudden wave of exhaustion overcame me. The day got brighter bit by bit, and I just stood there, silently trying to piece it all together. All the jumbled thoughts rattling around in my head. I was running away from Yoshie, and Tsukasa was with me, and then I was saved by that old woman.
やっぱり夢だよね。
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. As the bright rays of the sun washed over me, I felt new life and new hope welling up from within, and I finally came to terms with those horrid events. Most likely, I got the pen case without incident, but then, on my way back, something hit my head and knocked me out. That would be just my luck.
あ、ちょっとシシド、動くなよ。そのまま。
That's kind of creepy. Stay there. Just like that. I didn't know what he was planning to do, but he was staring right at me. It felt kind of like he was staring into my soul. And then... Slowly, Tsukasa drew his face toward mine.
これっ
Huh?
嘘。何これ。
I shut my eyes. I was ready for this. Or maybe I just didn't want to look. But the next sensation I felt wasn't quite the one I was expecting.
シシド、これ大丈夫か？
He'd grabbed my arm for some reason and was staring down at it intently.
何よ、紛らわしいな。
Bruise?
やだ、何これ。
She's got a bruise. Turns out he was just concerned by the strange bruise I'd apparently received, which had momentarily become visible when I raised my arms. It was right around my elbow. Oh, that's creepy! Right where Yoshie had grabbed me in my dream.
痛そうだな。
全然痛くないけど。
けど？
なんでもないよ。
Giving a wry smile, I gently pulled my arm from his grip.
ねえ、司くん。
ん？
You remember any demons trying to kill us?
帰る前に一つお願いがあるんだけど。
なんだよ。
手繋いでもいい？
Oh, you guys are gonna make my heart melt.
手？
手。 ダメかな。
You know, I just did an episode of To the Moon, and now I'm doing this, and I'm just all warm and fuzzy all over.
なんでという彼の言葉にはなんとなくと答えた。
Uh-huh.
そっと指先を掴んだだけの軽いものだったけど、初めて私はお互いの心がつながっているのを感じた気がして、とても嬉しかったのを覚えている。
I wonder how confused he was. Excuse me?
ゆい先生。
Oh, we're back
ゆい
to
先生。
we're back to the real world.
ゆい先生ってば。
Oh my god. I knew I heard that voice before, but who was it? Was I just dreaming again? I still felt like I was holding Tsukasa's hand, though.
ゆい先生、手。やっと起きた。
あら？え？持田くん？
そうだよ、持田聡だよ。
I was still dazed. I had no idea what was going on. All I knew was that one of my students, Satoshi Mochida, was here, and he looked concerned.
ゆい先生、いい加減手を。
Where are you grabbing?
あら！
I finally realized what he was talking about. I was holding Mochida's hand in my own and squeezing it awfully tightly.
やだ！ごめんなさい！私ったら…
いいけどさ、ゆい先生、結構握力強いんだな。
You guys, look at her arm! She's got the bruise on her arm! Why am I excited about this? This is terrifying!
あら、そう？これでも昔はか弱く儚い美少女として巷に名を馳せたものだけど。
それどこから突っ込んでいいの？
手厳しいわね。
Mochida was a good student. He and I got along well, and we were already falling back to our usual pattern of good-natured ribbing. Except...
ちょっと待って。どうして持田くんがうちにいるの？
それさっき話したじゃん。
え？
はあ、その調子じゃ何も覚えてないんでしょ。
Yeah, she was out of it for sure.
何も？
さっき俺の作ったおかゆ食って薬飲んでまた寝たじゃないか。その時話したのに。本当に綺麗さっぱり覚えてない？
全然。
笑えないよ。もう。
Mochida sighed and pointed at the table.
あれ、山崎先生からの届け物。
もしかしてわざわざそれを届けに来てくれたの？
Yeah, he did.
そうだよ。そしたらゆい先生があんまりにひどい状態だったから飯作って。キッチン借りていいって言ったのはモネだから。
He did. He mewed.
そっか、モネちゃんがね。
I stroked Monet's neck, and he lied down contentedly on my futon. Such a pretty kitty. I was getting kind of wrapped up in petting him, as I often did. I almost forgot Mochida was here, until he let out a huge sigh.
ゆい先生、玄関の鍵は閉めないと不用心だよ。
あら、開いてた？
Yeah.
今回ばかりは開いてて助かったけど、でも今後はちゃんと閉めないとダメだからな。
気をつけるわ。
I'm sorry, which one's the teacher now? Just curious.
なんで笑うの？
持田くん、私のお母さんみたいだから。
うわ、複雑。
I didn't mean to laugh. I must have seemed kind of deranged, but I could always blame it on the fever. Mochida looked at me and let out another sigh. My poor sense of humor must have been getting to him.
でもまあ、だいぶ元気になってきたみたいでよかったよ。
そうみたい。
結構寝てたもんな、ゆい先生。
そうね。確か今朝風邪でめまいがして、学校にお休みの電話をして、モネちゃんのご飯を用意して、そこから先の記憶がないのよね。
あれ、コンビニ行ったんじゃないの？
コンビニ？
うん。冷却シートと弁当があって、
Who went to the convenience store?
ほらこれ。レシートの時間。今朝になってるけど。
本当だ。
もしかしてゆい先生、コンビニ行ったこと覚えてないの？うわー、もうしっかりしてくれよ。
Oh.
まさかパジャマで出かけたりしてないよな？
そんなことはないと思うけど。
I don't think I did.
どうかな。
Yeah, you weren't dressed for convenience store type clothing or any type
笑
clothing.
ってごまかさない。
ごめんごめん。持田くん、私のことずっと看病してくれてたの？
うん。
そう。遅くまでごめんなさいね。
It was already past 10 o'clock in the evening. I couldn't believe Mochida had been with me this whole time. I felt both guilty and grateful, and I definitely gained a new respect for him.
おかゆ、まだちょっと残ってるから腹減ったら食べてよ。あとそれからこれ。
スーパーの袋？
冷蔵庫を見たら何もなかったからさ、ついでに買っておいたよ。
He went grocery shopping for her? The bag was quite heavy. Inside it was a bottle of orange juice, some bananas, canned peaches, apples, and other assorted fruits.
これ？
風邪の時ってビタミンを取るといいんだろう。それ食べて早く良くなってよ。
持田くん。
That much fruit couldn't have come cheap, especially for a high schooler. I considered offering to pay him back, but decided against it. I knew he wouldn't take my money, and besides, I really appreciated the fact that he'd gone to all this trouble for me. I'd return the favor another time. If it ever seemed like he was going to be staying late after school, maybe I'd buy him dinner. Or I could help him with preparations for the school festival.
じゃあ俺帰るよ。
あ、大丈夫？道わかるかしら？なんなら途中まで見送りに行くわよ。
大丈夫だよ。ゆい先生はおとなしく寝てて。まだ本調子じゃないんだし。第一、夜道を女の人一人で歩くなんて危険だよ。
持田くんは優しいね。そういうとこキュンとしちゃう。
Oh, Mochida.
あれ、そういうこと俺に言っていいの？
なんで？
Mochida and I joked like this a lot. Usually, it made him blush and get adorably embarrassed. But not today. Today, he just grinned sheepishly, with a mischievous glint in his eyes. I didn't quite get it. What was his angle?
司くんって誰？先生の恋人？
どうしてそれ？
ゆい先生寝てるときずっとその人のこと呼んでたよ。うなされながら何度も司くん司くんって。誰なんだよ。
Oh, he's gonna pry. That crafty Mochida had turned the tables on me, and how embarrassing to know that I've been calling Tsukasa's name.
それは。
I hesitated to answer for a moment, but then figured, what the hell? Why not?
司くんはね、
Oh,
私の初恋の人。
その様子じゃゆい先生はよっぽどその人のことが好きだったんだね。だって先生さっきすごかったよ。
though,
俺のこと司って人と間違えてたでしょ。
yeah.
やだ。
ゆい先生顔赤いよ。
これは熱のせいよ。
Still kind of a weird conversation to have between teacher and student, isn't it?
まあいいや、そういうことにしてあげる。
もうあんまり大人をからかわないで。
だってこんなゆい先生めったに見れないからさ。
I wasn't sure he was ever going to give me the full story of all the embarrassing things I'd done in my fevered days. And maybe it was better he didn't. Either way, I was in his debt, so he could tease me all he wanted. Just this once.
やばい、そろそろ帰らないとゆかがカンカンだ。
今日はありがとね。もう暗いから気をつけて帰るのよ。
はーい。それじゃあ先生、食事をきちんととって頑張って早く治してくれよ。
頑張る。
ファイト。
ありがとう。いい子だな、持田くんは。いかんいかん、あの子は生徒だぞ。
Exactly. Stay strong.
おいで、モネちゃん。一緒に寝よっか。会いたいな、司くん。
Where did he go? Where is he? Oh, we're done. A chronicle of past events. Okay. Well, that's good. Although that was very, very straightforward. I mean, besides the branching paths that we had, I didn't have to wander the school at all. Like, that was super straightforward. I didn't have to wander or get lost or anything like that. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end this episode right here. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys on the next MAMJ. Let's play. She got beheaded. Are you kidding me? You're supposed to stand at the podium? I don't want to go this way. Where am I going? Where am I dragging this body? Excuse me, sir. So sorry. Oh. Why didn't I do that before?